What is up, comic fans? Welcome to the Legion of Comics. I'm Mark, and it's Sunday night. That means it's at Weeks In, the spoiler-filled look back at this week in comics, and so much more. And there's definitely some fun stuff to talk about. Before we get into any of that, check this out. Huge thank you to the channel sponsor, Big Time Collectibles. They sponsor the monthly Legion Loot giveaway for the channel members. Be sure to check them out at bigtimecollectibles.com and follow them on social media to not miss out on any of their fantastic drops. And if you need anything cleaner press, hit our friend Justin over on Instagram. Let him know you found him via the channel and take advantage of the special offer he runs for the viewers of the channel. Hit him with the promo code WeAreLegion. And lastly, big shout out to the local sponsor, the Augusta Book Exchange, my LCS, without whom none of this would be possible. Be sure to check them out if you're ever in the area. All the links to all the sponsors, as well as Pop's Attic, are in the description below. Mommy is home. Where's your towel? Where's your towel?
I was all done.
Well, go get your towel.
How did mine get so fast?
I don't know. Let's ask Paul. How did
I don't
Mommy
know where the
get here
towel
so
is.
fast? How did Mommy get here so fast, dude? That was the same thing I was saying to you. Yeah. So it was, had a curveball of good luck this evening. So I was here with the kids. I was getting ready to get them from outside from playing and get them ready for bed. And bath time was mandatory. So I get them in the bath. I get them washed. And normally we let them hang out and play and stuff, but I was just going to get them out and get them ready to wind down. And then I hear a noise and I peek out the bathroom, and Kyle done made it home, got in her PJs and was chilling. Said she'd get him out and get him dressed. I'm like, perfect. We can start on time. We were here on time. You know, we had to wait 2 minutes to be consistent.
Don't want to break the internet.
Don't want to break the internet and start on time. But I'm excited to be here. Appreciate you coming. It's always fun to cap off the week and take a look back. There's some fun stuff to talk about tonight. And before we do that, let me say hey to some of the people in the chat. We got Wheelchair Superhero 87. What is going on, Kyle? Hope you're doing good this evening. Dr. Von Hoot.
Dr. Von Hoot.
Spiral Dimension. Evening all running a little late, but we'll hopefully catch you in. Awesome. Comicverse, what is going on? Tony, how are you tonight? Good evening. Izzyverse NYC, what is up, brother? Hope you're doing good. He's right on the cusp of another milestone. So if y'all haven't subscribed to Izzyverse NYC, be sure to do that. Puts out a lot of fun content on YouTube and Instagram. Another one of those people that I'm always impressed when I see how they edit together and piece together their stuff. It's just fun to watch. So fun to watch. I'm good. Las Crucias 1971. I hope you're feeling okay, my friend. It looks like there's like 3 or 4 at least people ahead of you commenting tonight. Unless you got here early and put the first comment in. Some of those early ones vanish. Flash Ray videos. What is happening? What's up, everyone? Should be going to bed, but I'm here for now. Hashtag We Are Legion. Norin Rad, how are you? Hope you're doing good. Nicholas, hope you're doing good too. He's the one putting on the Tulsa Comic Swap coming up on Father's Day weekend. So if you're in the Tulsa area, be sure to check that out. And if you're not in the Tulsa area, we will see you at Heroes Con.
All dark.
What is going on, 56792? Yo, I know Robert was having a good week as well as Kyle. The Power Ranger special finally dropped. That was really cool. So that was one of the cool things. We had the finale of the Mandalorian season 3. We had Power Rangers Once and Future drop, and that's all I really have in my brain right now are those two things. I know you didn't watch the Power Rangers show, probably.
I did not, but I know we don't really ever talk about this. But if anyone is a Star Trek Picard or a Star Trek fan, the final episode of Star Trek Picard dropped this week too. It was amazing. Tell
me about it. Because I don't watch it. If you watch something I don't watch, we're more than welcome to cover it.
Yeah, no, I mean this whole season has just been it has been probably the best series of Star Trek that has been put out since they moved to Paramount Plus, probably.
Now I've heard that from a lot of different sources. I watch other stuff on YouTube and stuff, and people have been raving about this season, especially when it hit about the halfway point, how it's just been like exactly what fans have been wanting for years. And I have no context to know what they're talking about. So fill me in. What's been some of the highlights of this?
They brought back the entire Next Generation crew for, and the thing is, it wasn't just, hey, look, there's Jordy, and hey, look, there's Data. Like, each person was incredibly important to the story as it moved along. So it wasn't just like a throwaway type of a cameo or anything like that. We had the final confrontation between Picard and the Borg, which involves his son. So his son
Picard's son?
ends up being who he didn't know he had a son, but he had a son with Dr. Crusher, and so he ends up being an important part of this. And it really kind of, if they want to move on, it sets up um, everything going forward if they want to go ahead and do that, because it brings in, well, Seven of Nine was in the first couple of seasons, but it has the LaForge children. It has Jack Crusher, who's the person I was talking about. It has Seven of Nine. It just really has set everything up. And again, just did a masterful job um, of bringing all these different pieces together, making it not just action packed, but also very poignant as well, throughout the different episodes as well. So it wasn't just, oh, look, there's a phaser, this looks great. There was a real story behind it. There was a reason for everything happening. There were, like I said, there were very poignant moments that happened in it as well. So yeah, it was probably the best series so far. So yes, Wesley Crusher has a brother. Yes.
Yeah, so there's more people in the audience that appreciated that than you assumed. Look at that.
Hmm.
So was this season 3?
It was season 3, and it's the last season. So
Nice. End on a high note. There's never anything wrong with
exactly.
that. Have a goal, go out there,
Mhm.
accomplish it, and end on a high note. That's like the way to do it. Well, Mandalorian ended its 3rd season,
It did.
and it ended
Not
on a note.
It did. I'm not sure what the note was. I think the
F
note was that it ended on a note that said "gone fishing."
gone fishing. Exactly. So there was all right. The Mandalorian season 3 was an absolute train wreck compared to seasons 1 and 2. There were some fun moments in it. There was no cohesiveness to the season as a whole whatsoever. Now the
Right.
finale, the 2-part finale was fun. Now if you take the finale by itself, it just felt a little hollow. It seemed like there was
It,
just a little gimmicky, but there were some really cool shots. So it was a fun aspect to it, but there's just really nothing, like how you pointed out, like with the Picard thing, there was nothing of substance to it. It was just
it just, to me, it felt more almost like a series finale the way it ended. You know, we got the Mandalorian and Grogu, going out to the countryside, settling in their house where Grogu can make frogs fly. And that pretty and he's gonna sit on his porch. That
yeah.
literally is the way it ended.
And
There's
then you
nothing that
see that
sets up
really,
anything going forward into another season.
which is fine. Like it's fine if that, but we know this isn't the end, though. You know what I
Right.
mean? So, but they let you. It goes back to what we were talking about weeks ago. Like it shows you that there was kind of a little break in the plan of what this show was at one point, switching over to what the studio decided it's going to be. And then you have this season that got crushed together from conflicting ideas. And then in the middle of it, they announced they're going to cap it off with a movie, smushing multiple shows into a movie. So the show is a victim of corporate decisions, pretty much. And
Yeah.
Moff Gideon was defeated too easy. And then somebody asked me, like, did he die? I said, nobody knows. No one can
Right.
honestly tell you, because in one scene, you're watching him shoot Mando with a flamethrower for like 10 minutes and do nothing. Then the next scene, you just see Fireball go over him. And are we supposed to assume he's dead from that? Like, you just established that fire's not going to take one of these people out. So it was. Pascal wasn't Mando in this season, anyways. That's one of his biggest contentions. You have a
Yeah.
stunt man doing everything, and him just doing voice acting. But
Yeah.
they didn't keep their actor happy, unfortunately. He definitely won't be back, I'm sure. Kind of dumb. Hi, everyone. I saw The Mandalorian. I love the last 2 episodes. It did feel like a series finale, absolutely.
There were
And I
definitely
thought,
parts of the last 2 episodes that were really good.
Mhm.
They always talk whenever these things are like, did they stick the landing? And I think they got everything except for the actual landing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, dude, man, this season could have been, except like I think the first 2 seasons are exceptional television shows, and I think this one just, again, like you can just see the unclear direction of the people behind this not on the same page, and it's unfortunate. And this season, seeing what we've got out of it, they could have taken this down to 3 or 4 episodes max, and it would have been a phenomenal 3.5 hours worth of story, and it would have served the same purpose.
Right.
Moth clones open his eyes to say, "Now I'm a clone." Yeah, that was like, like that was another thing we caught. If they hold back the villain for the final 2 episodes, it's going to be hollow and pointless, and that's exactly what they did. Like, they should have been showing you Moth's plan the whole time. Show him get rescued. Let us see him making these clones so that we can feel the dread, the impending doom, like the level of stakes. We got none of that. They're like, "Hey, here's clones. Let's break them."
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, and then all they needed to do, I mean, not all they needed to do, but one of the things they could have done was, after everything was all done, is somebody walking through the wreckage of what had just happened, right? And picks up the almost burnt hilt of the dark saber, right? Because where is the dark saber now? It was just laying there.
It's lost to,
Right,
it's lost to legend. That's how it was lost to legend, right?
Right.
This was it. Was just a quick little break. Norin saying that he defeated a clone, but didn't Moth say that his clones were infused with the Force, and the Moth Gideon he was fighting did not have the Force?
Yeah, I thought all those clones where they all exploded and they all died there, right?
I think he's presuming that there might have been one already made and out of a tube. Yeah, like you can always go back and retcon it. That wasn't the real Moff Gideon. Those weren't the first clones we made. We made an earlier batch.
You could, but I kind of took that to mean as though the Moff Gideon that they fought was the one that was in the ship earlier in the season that escaped and everything, and it was the real one. And
yeah, I mean, I assumed it was the real one. They gave me nothing to assume otherwise.
Right.
But I think that was kind of a weird angle to like, oh, we can just make clones and give them the Force. Well, why can't you just give anyone the Force then? I don't know how they were gonna. I don't know. There's just not infused with the Force. He was planning to do that with Grogu.
Right.
Yeah. Roger that. Roger that. But yeah, there were some really cool visuals though, like the fighting of all the bad troopers, or whatever you want to call them, the Storm Mandalorian trooper things, and then the Mandalorians. That was really cool looking. Dude, it irked me. It absolutely irked me when they took that Star Cruiser and flew it down into the cave. I'm like, yo, that thing's like 5 miles wide.
Right. Yeah, that's the one thing that has always been very impressive about Star Wars. Is when those Star Cruisers show up, you can tell how massive they are. They do a good job of showing exactly how massive those things are.
Yeah. And it looks really cool. Some of the special effects in it look phenomenal. Like, especially when it comes to like the ships and stuff like that, it looks so good. Looks really, really good. Yeah, that don't look right. But yeah, overall, this was I would never go back and watch this season. The first and second season I watched. The first season I watched like 3 times. I watched it when it aired. I watched it a second time with my wife, and then I remember Burke would do live streams, kind of just watching it on stream if anyone wanted to watch and like chit chat about it. And I did that. So I watched the first season 3 times, like the week it aired kind of thing. And then the second season I watched twice, and this one I don't think it has that rewatchability factor for me. So I'm kind of nervous to see what they're going to do moving forward. I guess they're going to use a movie to cap it off. That sounds like just a quick cash grab. There's really nothing you would need to do more with this. They at the end they just checked off the list like, we're on Mandalore, we lit the Forge, there's a Mythosaur. I'm sure that they're going to ride that damn thing in the movie at some point or something.
Yeah, and it seems as though the movie is going to be. I mean, you have Ahsoka coming out, you have Skeleton Crew coming out. The Acolyte, I think, is still coming out. So I think so. The 3 of them plus the Mandalorian and Boba Fett, I think all of those are supposed to culminate in that one big movie. So if they spread them out long enough, you really don't even need to go back to the Mandalorian before you make the movie.
That's true. Yeah, Ahsoka, like I think like on this initially I was excited. I don't know. I'm just not too excited about that. That the episodes that she was in when we've seen her previously were fantastic. But I just don't have faith in the company in its current state with what it's putting out. Like I just don't. They pretty much completely lost me. I look forward to a time when they get me back though, because all these companies that have been around for as long as places like Marvel, DC, Disney, they have highs and lows, and it would be disingenuous of me if I didn't say I felt like they were in a super slump right now, which is normal for companies. I just hope they've obviously been recognizing it with the 7,000 layoffs, firing their executives, all kinds of stuff. They announced today that between Strange Worlds and Lightyear, they lost over like hundreds of millions of dollars just off of those two projects. So heads are rolling, people are firing, and when it all comes down to it, money talks first and foremost in these companies, and they're not seeing the return. So maybe we'll see a huge bump coming soon, and I look forward to the day.
And then the Marvel Cinematic Universe puts out Stephen Yeun as the guy from the Shang-Chi.
Oh God! Was it like his birthday shout out or something?
Yeah, something like that. They used
they
the big
from
picture was
Oh.
Stephen Yeun, and then the other smaller pictures were the three, and they meant it was supposed to be the guy from Shang-Chi. I can't even think of his name. No, Sam Liu, I think his name is.
Yeah, that was a huge misstep. Someone got fired for that for sure. I wanted Grogu to turn to the dark side. Well, he still has time. He still has time. Ahsoka is going to blow the doors off. Bet that. I will bet that. I'll be happy to bet that. Ahsoka is the one I'm looking forward to the most. Bringing the Rebels crew into live action should be amazing. All right, yeah. So I need Esteban to tell me when Ahsoka's starting, so I know what kind of time limit I have to catch up on Rebels. I have not watched Rebels. I've got to see it. I got to see it before Ahsoka.
I think Ahsoka is going to blow because it has built into it. It has that one of the biggest baddies of the Star Wars universe with Grand Admiral Thrawn.
That's a good point. There's aggressive. Man, he missed the Star Trek talk. That's unfortunate. He's a big fan too. The Empire felt like they had everything they needed for the Kamorians. What the hell does that say? Kaminina? Is that the original cloner?
That's the group that made all the clones originally.
Yeah, I remember Kamino is the planet that Kaminoans. Is that I've never seen that word in print before. Yeah, I know that Kamino is where the clones came from. They had their scientists like Pershing who had perfected it. We see as good clones, but their viciousness fried his brain. Yeah, that was actually my point of contention with the whole Pershing episode. They were acting like cloning is some kind of newly discovered science when like I pointed out, like they've been doing clones for decades. It's not like it's a simple thing to find in this galaxy with this many people in it. You didn't need Pershing or his research. They proved that. Now the Empire is the ability to make something like Snoke in the body we see the Emperor in. Weird. Oh my God, Rebels is freaking fantastic. That's what I hear. I hear it from a lot of people, but I told my friend Esteban here that I'm going to watch it, and I want to watch it, but I don't want to go into these shows half-cocked anymore. They're requiring you to do all this extra research and development to partway enjoy their show, and I want to enjoy these shows, but finding time is very difficult.
You know what I think would be a good starting point for a good episode or something somewhere would be Order 67.
What is that?
Exactly. We know what Order 66 was, right? Order 66 was to turn all the clones around. What's Order 67? What comes after that?
Would Order 67 be like the Bad Batch deciding that they're going to go shut down all those clones?
I don't know. Just it could go anywhere. I'm giving Marvel this story nugget for free.
You don't have. I've watched Clone Wars. I watched Clone Wars when it came out a long time ago. Yeah. I liked Clone Wars. I like Clone Wars a lot. I like the animated Clone Wars movie that no one ever talks about that was actually in theaters. I love the prequel area. I love the clone era. I remember when being a kid, like episode 2 is my favorite episode. So I don't make a lot of sense when it comes to Star Wars. I understand that. But like that has always been like I love Jango Fett, love Mace Windu. Clone era is my jams. So if people are telling me Rebels is good and everyone, it seems like all the people that rave over the current state of Disney stories, it's all because they liked Rebels. It's all because of the callback and the setup that Rebels does. But space whales. You see the space whales? Like, no, I don't give a shit about space whales. I'm watching this show. That's like me, let's just rewind the clock, right? It's 1997. I'm sitting in a theater. And I've listened to Robin tell Batman, I want a car. Chick stick the car.
Mm.
And then Batman turns around and says, this is why Superman works alone. And me trying to justify that movie and tell everyone it's so good because he said Superman. Because Superman, he said Superman. This movie was awesome. That's how y'all sound to me. Because I haven't watched Rebels and y'all say Space Wells, it was good because, like, no, man, all I watched was Batman and Robin. I didn't read Superman before I watched it. But that's how it comes off to me.
There was Space Whales in Star Trek too, by the way. Star Trek 4.
What is it? Yes. Search for Spock. Yes. Space Wells are a reoccurring thing. James Cameron just called us some Space Wells too. Yeah. With the app library and a library card, you can listen to your area's collection of Star Wars audiobooks today. There's like 48 hours of Thrawn books I recommend. Oh, and Alphabet Squadron, also Bloodline.
Yeah, Star Trek was more whales in space than space whales, but that's a different thing.
That's true. Rebels is the banger. Don't feel you're forced to watch it with Ahsoka. I do recommend No, it's literally required viewing. Yours, like if this other stuff has been required viewing and they're bringing the characters over in live action, it's required viewing. Like, because if I don't watch it, all y'all will be telling me is you should have watched it, and I've already told Esteban I'm going to get caught up.
Yeah, and to aggressively relaxing's point, Timothy Zahn has written just about every Admiral Thrawn book, and he is just amazing. Each one of them is just amazing. So.
And you brought his first appearance, the most recent episode of Guess That Key. Yes. Like you came on there big flexing again. Star Wars Heir to the Empire, is that issue 1 or 2?
1.
Issue 1. You found that in a dollar bin. I'm just kidding. Have you had that one a while, or is that a recent pickup?
Year and a half, I think.
I think I'm going to start being a Star Wars comic collector because I just haven't been in the mood to chase much of stuff. It's been a great feeling, not like you've collected long enough. You go through waves. I feel like getting some keys. Yeah. I feel like just chilling. I feel like getting something else. I think I'm going to just go buy all the Star Wars keys. There's like 5 of them.
Yeah, there's there's the Rebel. There's Rebels #1 and #6 that they put out. There's Heir to the Empire. There's the big one, if you can find it, is the Clone Wars #1. It has the
That's what I was about to say. You have the first Ahsoka. That's Ahsoka's too, right? Clone Wars 1.
Correct. Yeah.
So you have Ahsoka, Thrawn, Star Wars 1. Right. What else are actual? I don't mean like a first appearance. I mean actual keys, like monetary value. You don't have to chase them down, kind of thing. They got like 4 or 5, right? Dr. Aphra, that's one.
Yep. There is the first appearance of I think it's 82. I think the first appearance of Boba Fett in Comicx, I believe.
Yeah, there's 2 good Boba Fett issues. The first appearance of the Mandalorians and first appearance of Boba Fett.
Right.
Or Mandalore, one of the 2. The other one where it's like close up on the cover and it's a yellow background and there's like the 3 bounty hunters on there.
Yeah, and then like I said, the Rebels 1 and 6 are kind of some of the more recent ones because it's the first appearance of Ezra and all of those people. They're in a quick cameo in issue 1, but they're kind of their full appearances in issue 6. So.
Yeah. So like with Star Wars, the universe is so vast. Every single issue is almost the first appearance of somebody at this point. But in terms of like kind of, I guess what you would have to call them. Oh yeah, Kanan is another one.
Exactly. It wasn't Rebels. It was Kanan I was trying to think of. This is the one that has all the Rebels characters in it.
Got you. So yeah, if you're thinking like what I would consider like, I guess, Star Wars blue chip books, because there's too many keys to even try to like get them all. What is going on, Chip Getler? We've been talking a bit of Star Wars tonight.
Hey, Chip.
But I think it'd be fun just to spend a couple of months and just pick up all the Star Wars keys. It's pretty affordable, all things considered, considering like what like superhero keys cost. You're going to spend some money, but you're looking at a couple $100. Like you're looking at 3-digit books on the high end for decent copies versus 4 digits. That's a huge difference. First Grogu, yeah, that's pretty. I have the first Grogu here. I gave one away. I have another one to give away as well. I had I think it was a Ken Lashley variant for that issue. The robot scene at the end of Ahsoka is the robot that has existed since the beginning of the Jedi Order. We're about to get exposition that ties all the eras together and explains who the say that word for me. Are you familiar with it?
Grisk.
Right? Griscar. Yeah. I'm kind of excited for the one that they announced. It's going to go back to the beginning, like the earliest installment in the timeline that we'll have so far. They're going back to like the discovery of the Force. I think that's a really, really interesting concept. First Grandmaster Ray Skywalker is still cheap. I just bought another one. I don't think I would consider that blue chip.
Yeah, and you know the third movie that they're doing, because they're doing the one with the Boba Fett and Mandalorian, and then they're doing the one like you said that goes back almost to the beginning.
And
I
then we're
just
going to
think
this.
that, and then they're doing, yeah, but I worry about that one because, you know, the whole it's almost like any character that was part of that of the sequel trilogy
Yeah.
has almost been tainted, and people are going to be like, do I really want to see that person again? You know, they could have done something with the Jedi Order and not necessarily had any of the current characters with it. You know, what the future of the Jedi Order is.
See, and this is just going back again to me. Like I am self-aware. I'm absolutely broken. Out of the three sequel movies, by far my favorite is Episode 9.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love that movie. I had a blast watching it. I got like choked up at the end. Like I understood going into it, and in my view of it, Ryan or Rain, however you say his name, absolutely destroyed that trilogy with that second installment into it.
Yeah,
Absolutely destroyed it,
I know
story wise and
the
everything.
first one made $1 billion or whatever, more $2 billion, whatever it was. I think probably because it had been off the movie screens for a long time. Um, but I didn't. I mean, it was almost beat for beat Episode 4. you know,
Yeah,
and
you
then
had
Episode 8, like you said, I
Orphan in
hated
the
Episode
desert.
8.
Yeah, Orphan in the desert finds
Yeah,
an android with plans to go destroy a Death Star.
right.
She meets up with the rebellion and goes and blows it up. Like it couldn't be more the exact same movie if it tried. Which I mean, it's presented fine, but it's ridiculous on face. I was big excited for this Kylo Ren character, and they turned him into a whiny brat. In his outing, he wasn't scary or anything. They took his helmet off in the first episode. I'm like, why'd y'all take his helmet off? That drove me mad. And when they put his helmet back on, and I loved the concept with the Force diodes. Like you added a cool little layer, and dude, that fight at the end when he was fighting the Knights of Ren or whoever they were, and he puts his hand behind his back and Ray passes him the lightsaber. He just pulls his hand out. And they look at it like they're confused. He just kind of shrugs. I'm like, dude, that movie had so
Yeah,
many great moments. Like I was over. I was all the way over in that movie. It was awesome.
yeah, and I agree. And I think to me, Ryan Johnson with Episode 8, to me, the one scene that explains exactly how he felt about it was when Luke Skywalker takes the lightsaber and he just throws it over his shoulder. Like, I don't care about this. Like,
Yeah,
okay, you know what?
done.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. Yeah, I agree that helmet needed to stay on. So I think that third one, like having had it completely, they destroyed that trilogy. Like again, there was a lot of things went into that trilogy being just a chopped up mess. But I think that last one they pulled together as much as they could just to have fun, and
Mhm.
it was cool, dude. The opening scene I think is fantastic with Kylo getting the star point maps and whatever, and going to find Exegol and like just fighting his way to all. My dude, that was dope.
And then, I mean, Snoke could have been such a great character.
Should have just left it at Snoke.
Mhm.
Didn't need to be a body double for the Emperor, but they killed him without him ever doing anything. Never accomplished anything. Menacing, mysterious. Who is this guy? And then they show him in his bathrobe and he's cut him in half. Like what? What? So many odd decisions that were made in that second one. You still with me, Paul? You kind of froze up on my end.
I'm here.
Okay. Audio's working great. Yo, when he turned to Ben Solo and started doing a Harrison Ford impression, I was so mad that character wasn't in the movie. I hate how they killed off. That's another one. I was big excited for Captain Phasma. Like you have this stormtrooper who's all chromed out with a cape,
Hmm.
and like who? What are they going to do? And then the second episode, oh, nothing. They're going to do nothing. Just gonna fall and die out of nowhere for no reason. Accomplished nothing. Never did anything. I'm like, are y'all kidding me? You create these cool characters like went out like Boba Fett in the originals. Like, didn't y'all learn from that mistake? I like to cut all the coolest characters right now when we meet them, though. That's so fair. Poor Darth Maul. I hate how they name her grandfather was. You know, some odd decisions made. It was cool
Yeah,
getting
definitely.
when she grabbed when Ray reached up and like I guess that's I mean like I don't understand the progression of Ray's abilities with the Force. It's just all of it just because. But when she still grabbed that carrier, trying to stop and save Chewie, like I was put back to my seat, like, oh snap! Like that was cool. Yeah, maybe Phasma. However, we'll see. We'll see. Moving right along. That's a lot of Star Wars talk. For those that care, which means I'm talking to Wheelchair Superhero 87. Power Rangers Once and Always dropped on Netflix. So if you were ever a fan of Power Rangers back in the day, because this is a love letter to those OG fans and the ones that came along the way, they did a one-off. It's like 50-minute long episode. Fantastic story. If you've not watched Power Rangers, you weren't a fan, avoid it at all costs. It's made intentionally like the original show with the cheesy outfits, the special effects, kind of it just feels just like the old show. So if that wasn't your jam, this won't be either. But this is the first step that Netflix has taken since they bought the franchise from whoever had it. Netflix has big plans for the Rangers moving forward, so it was cool that they kind of did this. And it's kind of David Yost, the actor who played the Blue Ranger. Apparently, he had a huge hand in its creation. And they already did something that we've never seen Power Rangers do up until this point, even with the comics. And back in the day, the actress who played the original Yellow Ranger, she passed away in a car accident in real life. And it's something that's never been addressed inside the continuity of the universe. In the comics, Trini's still alive. And in the show, her character, as well as some other ones, have just been off on as peacekeeping emissaries, and kind of thing. But in this show, in this special, she actually dies, and I thought that was crazy. And she gets killed in battle in the opening scene, and the whole thing is about her daughter who's left behind and them taking care of her and dealing with grief and vengeance and stuff like that. It was insane. If like again, this is really only going to hit if you were like an actual Power Ranger fan going into this fantastic story. I just don't see that with Power Rangers. Hey, all right, on paper. And again, context matters. It definitely matters. But I was very impressed with it. Finn loved it. Like this is one that I sat there and watched on my own, then went back and watched it again with my kid. I've already watched it numerous times. It is definitely Morbin time. Give Billy a show. Loved it. Yeah, dude. So yeah, great throwbacks in the special. It was legit. It was beyond legit. They did some really cool stuff. Like for the first time, we had different alphas. Alpha 5 has always been like their little buddy at their headquarters, the sidekick of their leader. And we're up to like Alpha 9 now. We saw where Alpha 8 got corrupted by the bad guy and taken over. There's just some major decisions made that we've never seen them kind of push those envelopes before. It was really cool. It gives me a lot of hope for what they're going to do when they start hitting their original content with it. Because I know that they're trying to kind of start it over and do their own thing. So I think that they got the right people for the job with Netflix. You can I'm gonna like it. I'm gonna. Yeah, I don't make no bones about liking Power Rangers. Not at all. What else happened this week, Paul?
Trying to think. There was no Superman and Lois. There was no Gotham Knights. Although
We didn't talk about Superman and Lois from last week, though.
Right. Did you watch it?
I did. It was a tearjerker. The timing was really rough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. It was. I think you and I talked about this off screen, I think, but one of the things I really thought was done really well was actually the conversations that Tyler Hoechlin had with the people that were having the chemotherapy. It was like something that you would have in other, you would expect to maybe to have him to have it with Lois, but instead it's kind of through this third person. So, and he is, he's learning about what may be in his future from them, as well as obviously feeling the pain, of what they've gone through at the same time. So,
Yeah, there was levels to it. Getting that moment with Mannheim and Lois was also pretty intense as well.
hmm
We get introduced to another villain straight from the comics as well.
I was gonna say the final scene.
So we get a really cool fight with what was it, Flatline or something like that? Was
hmm
it Flatline? Who was it? Deadline. Deadline.
hmm
I think it was Deadline. He has the ability to phase with the augmented suits. He was a
Right.
criminal patient in prison that they pulled out and gave him the ability to live longer with some of their synthetic Superman blood syndrome or serum that they were using, and gave him a kryptonite knife and sent him after the man. Did not happen. Did not get him. He ended up in the middle of a wall. I still have to get caught up on Superman and Lois. Have a good night. And don't forget to smash that like button, y'all. All right, Chip, I appreciate it. Star Trek Picard gave the Next Generation crew the movie they never had, and it delivered in a big way. Yeah, we talked about that season finale earlier on. Paul was talking about how good that show ended.
Definitely aggressive. Totally agree.
Now I feel like I need to go back and watch that. Were the first two seasons as good as this third one?
No, it was the first two seasons pale in comparison to season 3.
I might just skip straight to season 3. What is going on, John's Comics? Or Brother John's Comics. Too many Johns. So many Johns. What else hit this week? Like no big announcements or anything. We talked about, I think trailers were last week. Are you still watching Gotham Knights? Keeping up with that?
I am, but I'm like two episodes behind, I think.
Did you see where like a week or so ago it was the most viewed television show on the HBO Max platform?
Really?
And I had like this was I had to put a comment under the news post. I said, "Who's feeding y'all these lies?" Because I couldn't believe it. Like that's pretty wild. I guess Batman sells even when he's not there.
Even when he's dead. Wow.
That's pretty impressive. I hope there's not another season coming though. I'm excited for Creature Commandos getting close. James Gunn announced that he's done with the first draft script for Superman. That he's apparently in the hunting for actors thing. That he's made some kind of comment about there's been some promising candidates out there or something. I like how much he participates with social media and like the process of this stuff. It looks like they're really fast tracking this. I hope they're not rushing it though, if that makes sense.
Right.
So yeah,
there was an announcement. I'll go back to Star Trek real quick since
go for it.
They announced a Star Trek Section 31 movie for Paramount Plus, which is going to star Michelle Yeoh, who's the one that was in Everything Always Everywhere. I think that was the movie. I think, which I haven't seen, but it supposedly is incredible.
Everything, everywhere, all at once, or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. But she was in the first and second seasons, of Star Trek Discovery, and Section 1 is like the Black Ops part of the Star Trek group. So
all red shirts.
No, the red shirts just die. They just die.
Yeah. Red shirts to the front of the line. Let's go.
Exactly. Yeah. So they announced that this week.
I need to check out Paramount Plus. I still want to go over there and check out the Halo show. Like I played the first video game like way back in the day, but like I don't like game like that, so I just played through it one time. But it looked like just a cool sci-fi show.
Yeah. It was pretty good. I've never played the game, but the series I thought was okay. Had I played the game, I may not like it as much, but I liked it.
No. What else do they really have over there that's kind of like their selling point items?
Star Trek is probably the biggest thing that they have.
No, they have Sonic, they have Top Gun for their big movies, like for kids and adults, or at least in recent year.
They have, if you're a fan of like all the old Twilight Zones, they have all the old Twilight Zones that are out there. Those are a lot of fun. Basically, they have
What's
shows that are like MTV, like South. They have South Park if you're interested in. They have some of the South Park stuff.
what's on the what's God, what is that? Kevin Costner, or is it cowboy who likes oil or something?
Yellowstone.
That's it. Isn't that on Paramount Plus?
I want to say it's on Peacock. It's weird because it's on the Paramount Network on
Okay.
TV, but I don't think it's on Paramount Plus. I think the Peacock that has the streaming rights.
Oh, there we go. Did you watch the Titans is back this week, and they had the Beast
Yeah,
Boy moment going through the multiverse? I know you shared that clip? Did you watch the whole episode?
I have not. I was just so excited by that clip, and I'm like, ah.
Yeah. So yeah, they had Beast Boy going through the multiverse in a clip, and he was getting visited by. Started off with him just kind of looking around and seeing Grant Gustin's The Flash, and then he pops out of the Speed Force and talks to Stargirl for a minute, pops back into the Speed Force, and you see Grant Morrison in what looks like his library holding a book. He's like, "Can you see me? I can see you." Well, that's pretty dope. And we even see Buana Beast for a second, or looked like Buana Beast, but Travis implied that it's somebody else.
Which is no, I think it's Wannabes too. But the Grant Morrison cameo and his words there are a direct reference back to when he wrote Animal Man.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the things was what at the end of one of the episodes, Animal Man shows up at Grant Morrison's house, and he's like, "You can see me." So
Yeah, that was the cover where the hands drawing him on the book,
right,
right? Yeah.
yep,
Esteban says the Halo series is terrible. Don't watch
okay.
it. It doesn't follow the game. It has its own continuity. It's not tied to the games. You sound like me complaining about Disney now.
There you go. See, I liked it, but I've never played the game, so I couldn't
Yeah,
tell
I don't.
whether it followed anything in or
All I
not.
know is there's like this ring in the sky called the Halo or something, and this green Iron Man with a machine gun fights a bunch of aliens. That's all I really remember. And what I think God, I don't even remember what the aliens are called now. I just want to say the Reach. No, I don't. I don't even remember that. I never played any past the first game.
But getting back to, so I think it's Wannabes. I think it is too.
So
Um,
Travis put something in the chat, like because he had watched it. He put a name and he's like, I don't want to say anymore and like spoil something. So like it definitely had wannabe. He definitely had wannabe masks. So
yeah,
it's got to be a
absolutely.
character along those lines. But did you see Travis's comment? Like something
I'm not
King
sure
or
I did.
Moana King or something like that. I just realized I repeated myself, but yes, I sound like you when it comes to Star Wars. Picard season 1 and 2 were a microwave turd of a dumpster fire. Season 3 was good. There it is.
You know, you really can't get anything better than Taylor just saying something is good.
Something was good. That means that's legit. Like that's like it's in
That's like
green. It's definitely in the green.
that's like Emmy worthy.
Taylor, what do you think of the finale of Mandalorian? Just the finale, not the 2-part finale, but just the finale. Where does
But
that?
going back while he's thinking, going back through the Beast Boy
Okay.
thing was we had Shazam, right? We had the scene from Shazam.
Oh yeah. The in the movie, yeah.
We had the audio from Superman 78. We had it was Marlon Brando audio, and we had the Cesar Romero audio from the 1966 Batman as well.
Mhm.
And then he ends up, and we had Stargirl.
Yeah, you remember when the CW did this for the first episode of Crisis?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, so I don't know why. Like the scene was cool, but it didn't like, oh my god, look what they're doing. I'm like, oh, we're doing this again. Cool. I think the Grant Morrison thing was cool. I just didn't really, I don't know. Like they're not gonna do anything with it. That's all it was. It was just
Mm,
cool.
right.
I get it.
And then it looks like he's set up to, because it's a two-parter, I think, where he's set up to have Cyborg. I think is going to show up in the next episode as well. I think so.
Oh yeah. I saw him in that. He was in that clip as well.
Hmm.
Let me stop what I'm doing and message Nicholas here. 86753099. What else happened this week? It's kind of been for me, it's kind of been a slower week. I try to like kind of keep up with stuff and share stuff out there because it's a good way for me to remember for one and go back and look at my IG and see what was happening. But I haven't had that kind of time this week. I do want to remind everybody, if y'all weren't here earlier in the show, tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, we're going to be talking live with Jeremy Adams. He's the current writer of Flash that'll take us all the way up to issue 800. And then he's going to be switching over and bringing Hal Jordan back in the Dawn of DC era. So Jeremy Adams, big things at DC coming from Jeremy Adams. Like absolute phenomenal writers. Worked on a lot of the DC animated universe titles as well as stuff outside of DC, like the Mortal Kombat films, television shows. Didn't he work on Supernatural or something, Paul?
Yes, that's where he got his first television. Well, actually, his first television writing credit was, funny enough, it's like full circle, was for the Green Lantern animated series, but then he was a writer for Supernatural.
Yeah, and then on top of that, I hope everybody can make it in live. If you can't, the rewind's always great, but we're not going to be grilling 20 questioning this guy. We're hoping to have more of just like a hangout talk and just be excited about this stuff because it ain't like they can can't tell you what's happening anyways because they're not allowed to. So we're going to find a way just to have fun and talk about our love of these characters with somebody who clearly loves them as well. And if you haven't read his Flash, we'll have 2 volumes of it that we'll be giving away, as well as a copy of Battle of the Super Sons, which he wrote for the DC animated stuff, which was phenomenal. So we'll give those away during the live stream tomorrow as well. And yeah, that'll be a good time. That stream is already up, so you can already go over there and hit the notification bell. That'll be tomorrow night at 9 p.m. real time.
Right.
Oh, there's some news. Adam Driver is rumored to be in talks for Mr. Fantastic. Take it or leave it. I'm fine either way. Either way, the finale was pretty and had some cool scenes, like the Mando fight scenes and the jetpack scenes. The ways they resolved a lot of the hanging plot threads was mostly dumb, though. So you literally just said what we said with our review of it. It's cool, flashy moments. Just wow, Evil Dead Rise was okay. That thing has like 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm kind of curious to see what the fans think of it. Some of the reviews were pretty promising. Pretty promising. I just like Adam Driver. I don't have a problem with him. I think he's pretty good in comedy roles. Next week is a huge giveaway on here. So that's a good point, Pop. Let me pull this up. Yada dee dee da dee da. So Pop's Attic on Instagram, link in the description. Past 1,000 followers on Instagram. And Pop isn't a slab guy, and he won a fantastic slab from DJ Links, so he's just sending it right back out to the community. So it's Secret Wars issue number 2 from the more recent Secret Wars run, their Crisis on Infinite Earths, Secret Wars, and it's the first appearance of God Emperor Doom, and it's CGC 9.8. Go over to Pop's Attic. That post is pinned to the top of his feed, so it's easy to find. Go over there, hit the like button on it, and drop the tag 3 people in the comments, and you're entered to win. Next week, right here on the show, we'll spin a wheel of all those names and see who wins that slab. So if that's something that you're interested in, do not miss out on that. Again, the link to Pop's Attic is in the description of all my videos, and the link to Sector 2815 should be in the description as well. I believe. I think I updated one so that it was easier to find. If not, y'all know how to find Paul. I should have already been subbed to him by now. And on that note, tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Correct. 10 a.m. We have our latest DC Comics deep dive. We're taking a look at Wonder Woman number 798, which is part 5 of the Lazarus Planet Revenge of the Gods. It is the penultimate, and Mark will be spelling it for you.
Word of the day. P-E-N.
Chapter of that. So that'll be at our normal time, 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, and then again tomorrow night, the big live one with Jeremy.
I didn't look interested in the new Evil Dead movie because it didn't have Ash in it. Yo, Ash versus the Army of Dead. That television show was great. But then in the remake that they did for Evil Dead some 5 years ago, dude, it was solid. It was solid. That electric kitchen knife scene was wicked. I love how Command Center is in Cranston Tech. Oh, Cranston Tech. Was it though? It had that little base out by the water. Wow, that book is awesome. Yeah, it's a pretty cool book. I hope I win it. It didn't also have humor aspects as well. Yeah, I'm cool with it not having the humor. Like that was a Bill thing. Without Bill, I don't think it needs it. Ash was behind the scenes helping in production. Oh, that's pretty cool, and you can tell it. Awesome. So it's about an hour in. You want to switch over and review some of these books that dropped this week? Have the opportunity to read a few of them.
Sure.
So let's start with The Flash. We'll have Jeremy Adams on tomorrow. And I haven't got through the whole thing, but let's go ahead and touch on because this was awesome. We just wrapped up the 1 Minute War, which was legit phenomenal. That was such a good read. And he did like the whole full circle thing with Wally, and we're not going to get into that. But we have like 3 issues here before he's done on the run. So I was telling Paul, I assumed that it's probably just filler. So it kind of made it to the bottom of my stack, and he kind of gave me a face. So I started reading it before the show here, made it about halfway, and it's the opposite of filler. This was a wild issue, so Paul's going to take us through it.
Yeah, basically it's set during the 2022 annual that he did last year, and it basically is Wallace babysitting Wally's 2 children, or trying to babysit them. They of course go off on their own adventure as they often do, and they end up meeting this guy Knives Maloney, who has appeared before. He basically is an evil guy who is basically aging backwards. So he's like the Benjamin Button of the Flash world.
What a gangster.
Exactly. And they end up in this universe that has all of these. Knives Maloney has brought together this group to try and take down the Wally's 2 kids. And it has Reverse Grodd, and it has Mineral Man, and it has Foul Play, and Heatwave Jr. all takes on other heroes and or villains. The Dr. Midnight is also, though, trying to help Wallace get to them so that he can then bring them back. However, coming to this universe as well is the Super Sons.
Yo, not filler.
Correct. And so they end up helping to fight Knives Maloney as well. He's basically in charge. He owns this thing called the Infinity Mind, which basically can create whatever you think of to help him. And so what happens is Wally's 2 kids basically decide that probably the best way to defeat Knives Maloney is to be kids. And kids have like a million thoughts going through their minds all at once, right? And so what they do is they wish for all of these things to appear all at once. It overwhelms Knives Maloney, and then he basically ends up sending them back to where to their rightful place in the multiverse. However, the Infinity Mind ends up dropping in the universe that they're in, and it gets picked up in the last panel by Granny Goodness
From Apocalypse.
with a to be continued. Hey, Rin.
Hey, Paul.
Cool shirt.
Chip Getler special.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was an action-packed wild
Hey,
ride.
Paul, from the bookstore.
That's not Paul from the bookstore. That's Paul from Florida from vacation. Remember? You on vacation?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm being silly.
Yeah, you are. Whoa, whoa. All right, love you. Give me pats.
No, I want to.
Yeah, I've already heard mommy tell you to bed, so no. Yeah, dope issue. I'm excited to see what they're going to do with Granny Goodness. I can't. I don't think we get enough of the new gods
Mhm.
and all of them. We've been getting a little bit in Danger Street, so it's cool that it's another kind of gap that we're kind of getting addressed. So no telling what's going to happen with that. I wonder if it's going to play out in these other 3 issues, or if it's going to be something that kind of gets kicked down the road for another story at another time, kind of thing.
Yeah, I did see him reply to somebody who asked about Heatwave Junior, and he basically said that's for another story for another time. So he has no plans to get back to those characters anyway.
You know, it'd be a good story for this time. It was probably my read of the week. Mm-mm. Deceased, War of the Undead Gods, issue number 8, the final issue to the entirety of the story. Hey, you got that variant.
Yeah.
Have you been getting the retro homages or whatever you would call it?
I usually get this one, and then I get the acetate one too, because I love the acetate one. So
yeah, I pick up that one and give it away. And I've always gotten the Matina ones because I honor Beckerman likes comics by buying Matina variants because it's his favorite artist. Yo, two bros, I have a video coming out tomorrow. I was thinking of Nick the whole time I was making it. He'll love it. I've never cared for Billy, but Yost was really good in this. I dig the new upgraded CGI for the teleporting blasters and stuff like that too. Yo, the Zords, man, when they did the shot for shot with the Zords, man, it looked great. It looked cool. Definitely made for the kids in us. Like, it was amazing. Yeah, they gave Billy so much agency in this. It was amazing. But this was definitely my read of the week. Deceased, War of the Undead Gods, the big finale to the technically 4-volume story that's been going for a few years at DC. It's been a blast from start to finish. It escalates with each volume somehow and still continues to shock you with how good it is, how personal the storytelling is. And it's been a great journey following John, Cassie, and Damien as they have to step into these roles. And they did something in this volume that I wasn't expecting. They kind of gave a bigger meaning to the anti-life virus. It wasn't just simply an anti-life virus, the anti-life equation gone south. There's a bigger darkness behind it, and they tied it into Erebos, an ancient Greek deity, the Lord of Darkness that exists in its own dimension, kind of thing, looming behind all. And what they have to do in this issue, having got rid of the virus, have to go address Erebos, because if they don't, this can happen again, and they can't have that. You have Darkseid wielding a yellow ring on their team. What is it? You got to go ask mommy. I don't know. Okay. Okay. And dude, so you have Darkseid wielding a yellow ring. You've got an army of Kryptonians. You've got Superman. You got Damien, and you get you even have Alfred, who's the Spectre from the events in this, which is probably one of the coolest events in comics in years that happened when that dropped. But it's kind of a suicide mission that Damien plans the whole thing. They get a hold of pretty much like the equation to shut down Erebos, pretty much. So poison darkness with light. And Damien puts it inside himself. They man a mission out there. They go, they get him inside of there, and that's when he kind of lets everyone know the plan. And he's sitting there inside of Erebos, just waiting to explode, basically, in pure light, so that it can shut down darkness. And that's where we get
it's the life equation. So there's a life equation and the anti-life equation, and so kind of like when matter and antimatter come together, there's this huge explosion.
A cancellation. Mm-hmm. And it's cool. He has this all white suit, this all white bat suit that's given to him to go do the mission on. You have Ares and Darkseid that go run a diversion. You have a couple of people that cut a hole in Erebus, and he flies in. And John refuses to leave. When they see that Damien ran a suicide mission, didn't tell anybody that he put they put the life equation in him, because they all assume it's still in Cyborg, who's able to run it. But he's like, yo, my dad's had fail-safe programming forever. I've had them. I use them to shut down your memory board, to not even remember me taking it from you. You can't stop me. I programmed you to not even try. Like, that was a moment in itself. That was great. But when he's sitting there just inside Erebos, just slowly glowing and slowly like getting ready to go, John refuses to leave. He's sitting there with his dad at the end of like the galaxy, and Alfred looks at him and says, "I can get him there in and out before he blows." And Alfred takes John Ken in there to see Damien one last time. So you have this moment, the Super Sons at the end, and
Daddy, you can go on vacation using my name.
Okay, we'll do that. So Damien looks at John and says, "You can't stop it." He goes, I know. I'm not going to try to. I'm not going to leave you either. I'm just going to sit with you." And he just sits down with him and just rides it out. And it was crazy. It was an absolutely touching moment. And there's numerous ones in there. Tom Taylor proves why he's one of the best in the business, especially when you get him on a title outside of the main continuity where he can just do what he wants. He brought conversations, lines of dialogue from the first issue back into this final issue that shows you he wrote this issue years ago. He wrote this ending years ago. It was wild.
There's a great scene where Guy Gardner basically like says something sarcastic to Darkseid, and Darkseid shoots him with his Omega eyes, and everybody starts to go and Guy's like, yeah, no, he goes, you know what, even I should have known better than to say something, say something sarcastic to Darkseid. That's all on me.
Yeah, I pushed it. He acknowledged that one. What is going on, Evil Mike? How are you doing tonight? It was dope. I'm sad to see it go. This is one of the ones that I've just loved it the whole time. I never understood everyone jumping on DC versus vampires, having not read this first, having not like jumped on this. Like this is why DC versus vampires exists. It's just a carbon copy of this format right here. But DC versus vampires was fun. It didn't stick the landing at all. But this right here, this was a 10 out of 10 all day long. If you haven't read this, I suggest anybody go back and ride that series out. Three mini series, and then a little side series that was a digital first.
Yeah, there aren't a lot of people a lot of writers who can write these huge world creating, world stakes things going on at the same time as writing these intimate one-on-one type of things that go on with people.
Yeah, it's insane. So speaking of penultimate, it's the word of the day. And when we say day, we're talking about the 24 hours of this show starting to the 24 hours of tomorrow. That'll come back around as well. Mm-hmm. But penultimate issue for this current volume of Punisher that came out as controversial and blah, 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 which is probably the best Punisher story that's ever been written. Like, this is absolutely amazing. But the penultimate issue, he is the Beast now, and he's now that he took out Ares and all that, he's riding around Earth just slaughtering bad guys, like shutting down corporations, people on like the plane to the islands you shouldn't go to, slaughtering them, shutting down all kinds of stuff. But the heroes are coming for him: Moon Knight, Doctor Strange, Black Widow, Wolverine, Captain America. Like, Frank's gone off the deep end. We got to go shut him down, get this beast out of him. And it's the big fight with them and everything. And he fights them. He holds them back, and he's just trying to get back to Maria. His mission's done. He promised her he'll go home because the Hand has resurrected his wife, and it's pretty much used that as like the motivation. Like, you help us, you get your wife back, kind of thing. And she now knows what he's done since she's died, becoming the Punisher, killing all these people in the name of her and her children. And she's not down with it. And the book ends with her turning a gun on him, which you can't kill him right now. He's literally the deity of death. Like, you shoot him, you cut him, like, it heals, like, instantly, pretty much. But she's, like, turned on him. So it's weird to see how this will all wrap up. It's got one more issue. Super good. Jason Aaron never disappoints, Norrin Rad says. But I don't know about that. I don't read enough of his stuff. But that was fantastic. Huzzah! Made it before the end. Evening, all. Welcome back, Doc. Welcome back. Yeah. So which one you got, Paul? Paul might be frozen.
Oh, Superman, number 3.
Got it. Yeah, every now and then you freeze on my screen, but your audio is still good.
Okay.
What is going on? TM, welcome back, my man.
Look forward to next
week.
Travis.
Superman number 3. Joshua Williamson, Jamal Campbell. Fired.
Yes.
What'd you think?
I thought it was great. I mean, the whole uh, we start where we ended last week, and that is basically with Superman infected with all of these little mini parasites. Um, but he goes to um, Paul is frozen. It was funny seeing Mark waiting. Um, he goes to Lex Luthor, and they
He's back.
basically, yeah, I'm back. Um, he basically, they're going to use Livewire as bait because of her powers and everything. It is definitely something that Parasite would be interested in, um, and so she, of course, does not want to be bait. But hey, you know what? We use it for bait. And what happens is Superman then, when the parasite shows up, Superman convinces Parasite. Oh, sorry. All of the little mini parasites end up leaving Superman to try and feed on Livewire and to get back to the main, the main villain of Parasite, the main body of Parasite. Um, and Superman convinces Parasite to basically just take in all of these little mini parasites, whatever, for lack of a better term. I keep thinking of the monkey prince, and all of those little things that come off of his hair. That was basically
Oh
the
yeah, the
little
little clones. Yeah.
yeah, the little mini parasites. Um, and so he ends up going there, and then Superman is put into. He basically puts on this containment suit so that they can't get back into him again, um, and that's how they end up basically dealing with Parasite. Um, but um, Superman has a second thought about Lex Luthor. He doesn't. He still doesn't really trust Luthor for the most part, but he trusts him enough, or at least he's willing to work with him enough um, that he does say that there are some things that they can do together, and he basically gives Lex Luthor what to me is seems like it's one of Jimmy Olsen's emergency watches, right? The signal watch
Yeah,
that
he gives
Jimmy
him
Olsen
a
used to
signal
have.
watch and a new prison.
Right, exactly.
So he had a
Um,
conversation with Lois after getting the parasites clear and everything, and Lois pointed out Lex is a special breed of person. Like you can either do what he wants and he expects you to, or if you don't do what he wants, that's what he expects. So he's got a plan for that too. So the only way to really know what Luthor is up to is just to go with his plan and keep your guard up. That's all you can do is just what Lex wants you to do and face the obstacles as they arise because there's no getting around him. He's smarter, which
right,
was a cool little angle. This book as a whole, and I was mentioning it before, feels like the animated series. Like from the containment suit that he put on is like something
mhm,
you'd see in the show that would be
yep,
translated into a toy. From the big beacon, they turned LexCorp into Supercorp. They're trying to bait Superman into joining Supercorp while Lex is away. Like Lex is trying to put on this facade that he's trying to work with Superman to make the world better. We don't know what his plan is yet, but he gave us a little bit of insight on why he wants to work with Superman. And he told Superman, you can feel it too. I know you can feel it in your instinct, in your bones. Something's coming and you don't know what it is, but I do. And he's referring to the little cliffhangers we get at the end.
mhm,
There's this character called Dr. Farm, Pharm, and he has a team of mad scientists that seem like they're people that were jaded from experiences with Lex Luthor. They're sitting there dissecting and playing with a Bizarro. We know that they're going for Silver Banshee next. We know that they're the
right,
ones that tampered with Parasite to create this fast evolving parasite that got to this point where we've never seen him before. Just he keeps evolving to infect more. So those are our true villain right now. So it looks like we're going to be getting a Superman having to work with Lex to deal with this. But the presentation of this book, the artwork, the dialogue, the way that the panels are drawn, not the layouts, but the shots, the actual like camera shots, it's so cinematic feeling like you're watching an actual animated film. It is amazing.
mhm. Yeah, it really is. And to your point is, you know, we're all waiting for Lex's other shoe to drop, because we know that he's not telling. Hey, Gene, we know that he's not telling Superman everything about what's going on. All he said to them is, "These aren't your enemies; these are my enemies that are coming." But we don't
Mhm.
know why they're coming for him. He hasn't explained any of that, and there's more. There's definitely got to be more to the story than just what Lex Luthor has said.
I'm definitely excited to see. I think I heard somebody say that Jamal Campbell's only on for 6 issues. Is that correct, or do you hear
Oh, I
that?
hadn't heard. I hadn't heard.
I hope he's here for a long haul, man. His art fits the book so perfectly.
Mhm. A lot of times they do that because that fits nicely into a trade paperback, and then they move on to
Mhm.
something else. So
So rocking with Superman from here on out for the night. It looks like. What do you got next? What do you want to hit?
Superboy.
Yo, this was fantastic.
Hmm.
I'm gonna be honest. I was like, I'm a Superman guy, but I was kind of upset that my pick in the DC round robin did not win. So for those that aren't aware, this book exists because DC for the past 2 years has done this event called the Round Robin, where they let people who work for them get together and pitch ideas, and then they come up. They have like just say 12 different book concepts. They have the title and the creative team, and you voted. Everyone was able to go vote via social media. They cut it down in half. They put it in one against one, a bunch of sets of one against one. And so you had 6, and then you go vote again with the 6 remaining. And then you vote again the third time, but you get a couple of pages of the story. And it came down to like Suicide Squad Dark, uh, Constantine and the Demon, and Superboy, Man of Tomorrow were all in the 3 finals. I'm like, it's hard to pick, but I wanted that Suicide Squad Dark so bad. But it came down to this, and I'm happy we got a super title. It really shows how much of a cry and a want for Superman that has been taken away from the fans, because now we're Superman galore and everything's just like so good, like the quality, and it's amazing. And there's no exception to this. It's Kenny Porter writing a Superman story focusing on Connor Kent and how he fits into the current super team, because he's a remnant from a time that's no longer here. And you have a Superboy, you have a Supergirl, you have a Steel, you have Natasha, you have Clark, and now you have the twins even. So where does Connor fit in? And that's what this is dealing with. He decides, after having a cool moment in the beginning of trying to save the day and the whole family coming in and just not feeling needed, going back to the farm to get the words of wisdom from Ma and Pa Kent. He's like, I need to find my metropolis. And the universe is huge. I'm going to go out and look for it. And he finds a planet that's in need, that's being invaded by the Dominators.
The Dominators. Yep.
Yeah. And he has this amazing battle against him. Super cool battle. He comes out on top. You get these really cool moments where like he's fighting and it looks like they're getting one up on him. And then he looks up, he's like, all right, everyone's evacuated now. My turn. And he gets up and starts actually bringing the heat. He didn't want to, he was willing to take some punches and not let things escalate too big so that people could get away and not be collateral damage. And then he just gets up and starts throwing haymakers, and just, it was cool as hell. It really was. And then this wild team, we get the first appearance of this team in the back, the last couple of pages. He just gets hit with a shot out of nowhere, and then they're on top of him, and some new characters. It looks like a new team. It looks like of
the Cosmeteers.
The Cosmeteers, who are willing to take those kill shots in these battles. So we're going to get introduced to who they are and how they're going to fit into things, or what's what in the next issue. I'm very excited for this one.
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of the stuff that they're doing with Dawn of DC is they're advertising them as 6-issue miniseries. But if people really show the support, they could go on.
Paul's like Zordon with the frozen screen. Yeah, comes and goes, but he's coming with the wisdom like Zordon as well, so that helps. What is going on, Warlord? How are you doing today? Boom, 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 boom. So yeah, I got 2 more books. So I know you haven't read Exo Man of War Unconquered issue 2 from Becky Cloonan, Michael W. Conrad writing team, and Liam Sharp on the artwork, doing all the interiors. This is amazing. So the whole concept is 2,000 years ago when Eric, the whole alien invasion happened, and he gets the armor and everything, and a bunch of Romans were picked up and turned into slaves on these alien ships. They ended up revolting, took over the ships, and spent 2,000 years in space evolving with alien technology. Now they're coming for the armor. That's what gets revealed in this one. So you get a lot of time with Eric walking around on the ship, kind of getting an idea of who they are. He knows they want the armor. They're trying to kind of like, I don't know, like butter him up and try to get him to see things from their perspective. And because they know that it probably they recognize it's not as easy as just taking it from him. You have a couple of hot-headed kind of muscles on their side that just want to rip it out of him, but they're not jumping the gun on it. But again, the artwork is beautiful, and by the end of it, you have like their armored character and Exo about to throw down and go blow for blow, and that's where it leaves us off. He's in the middle of their ship, and he's not nearly full power. He really probably doesn't have the ability to take them out right now until the suit charges back up and everything. But his temper and his attitude's not going to stop him from the fight already. He's also seen where the Novus Romans, who that's what they call themselves now, have their own group of slaves from where they're going around conquering in the cosmos, and he's not down with that. So he's going to have to free these slaves. He can't just destroy the ship, but it's building up a pretty decent story already. And again, the artwork alone, like if there's no words in this book, it'd still be worth picking up.
Exactly. It was the same thing with Starhenge. It was like, you know what? I hate to sit there and look at all the pretty pictures.
No, it is insane. The interiors are absolutely insane. It's just, I don't know, like the way it is very much so like Starhenge. You know, he's a very versatile artist, like very, very versatile artist. But he's really bringing the heat with this one, much like he did with Starhenge. Just the opening page, he sees this ship up above, and he's like, "Oh, might as well go meet him." And you just like feel him taking off, and he just ravages a whole like platoon of people on the way out there, just cutting them down, just destroying them. Just gorgeous pages. Yeah, it's a trip. Rodney Ramos did a variant I need to get. I think they show you all the variants in the back. Miko Suayon has some variants. Arthur Adams. Yeah, oh, I see the Rodney Ramos one. Here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Bottom middle there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's got a trade dress and a Virgin variant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the art is definitely sick. You know, and you know what I've noticed from I went and looked just to see if they have like I'm like, I want to grab an EXO action figure. There's never been an EXO action figure ever. Never made one. Like there's one little mini mate set, but what's crazy is in the back they advertise this awesome Bloodsport Bloodshot. But where's the EXO? They should do one now. Gotta hand it to you and keep it a straight face when poor Paul keeps freezing in these facial expressions. Yeah, the trick is just to look straight at the Spectre. Old Zordon over here, as Esteban said. I got one more book. How many more you got over there?
Just one. I haven't received that yet.
We'll save it. It was good.
Nightwing was good too. Tom Taylor again.
I don't read Nightwing. You keep me up to date on Nightwing.
They're basically still the child of Blockbuster. She is still being chased by Neron. Blockbuster basically gave Neron his daughter. He signed a contract, and so the Titans have gone to hell to try to fight against Neron, and they do, yes, absolutely. And Wonder Girl and Batgirl and someone else, I think, can't remember exactly who, are training Blockbuster's little daughter, to be, ooh, that's nice, to be a,
Gold and silver.
Nice. They're teaching her how to fight. But meanwhile, again, Neron is fighting against the Titans and everything. Long story short, they end up Neron ends up coming back to the waking world, or out of hell, and so the Titans then go through and they try to find where the contract is, and Neron just happens to have a bunch of computers that he keeps all of his contracts on, and since he's in hell, the first thing that Cyborg, who is in charge of going in and getting and finding this contract, is he turns everything on. He's like, there were just so many icons on this computer. That's what hell is like. There's computers with too many icons, and it's all has malware and phishware and all these other type things on it. And he says to them, if I ask you what your date of birth is or what your favorite color is, don't tell me. So they're working through everything, but they find a way around. They find the contract. They find a way around. Nightwing confronts Neron, and basically what happens is Nightwing has now become Blockbuster's daughter's guardian, and so the contract only has one signature on it now, which is Blockbuster, and it needs both signatures. Excuse me. And so Neron says, I can make a deal with you if you'll sign the contract. And the deal that he makes, or that he says he will give to Nightwing, is he will give him all sorts of powers. He will give him Kryptonian powers. He will give him Speed Force powers. He will give him all these types of powers if he just agrees to sign it over. And so he is tempting Nightwing, and that's where we end the issue. Neron basically giving him a new costume, new powers, and it says the temptation of Nightwing for the next issue.
Are they getting to the point where they're like doing any kind of like Titans lead in yet? Because we know that Tom Taylor's going to be jumping over and doing the Titans title.
They've been in the issue now for a couple issues, the Titans.
Okay. So we're getting close to that. I don't think that comes out next month, right? I wonder how much longer Tom Taylor's going to stay on Nightwing. He's been there for a little while now. I mean, there's no reason for him to leave, in my opinion, but
I hope he's safe. But yeah, he's been on there a good 30 issues, I think, maybe or so, maybe.
But he's also wrapping up a lot. Deceased just wrapped up. Dark Knights of Steel only has one more issue, so he's finished that.
Yeah, I mean, unless Jonathan Kent goes on longer, that'll be ending in a couple months.
I hope it goes on longer.
So me too.
Especially now that we finally got there. Mm-hmm. Now that Electric Blue finally dropped. Yeah, we know that, like you mentioned, the 6-issue format, but those have been a series of limited. With Superman Son of Kal-El was limited, and then they just switched over the title name to Dawn of DC. It pretty much, but yeah, I'm loving what's happening in the John Kent story right now. Loving it. Mm-hmm. Is Fishware like software but for underwater? May 16th for Titans.
Yep. And then they're doing they just announced the July solicitations just came out, and they announced the Hawkgirl series, and they announced a Tales of the Titans series as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, then they run from the Hell Horizon. Yep. Yes. Yep.
So there's a lot next month. Is going to be huge with the new Green Lantern story starting, Titans starting. There's a new Batman Brave and the Bold that'll be dropping. Because I saw those solicitations, and like issue 3 for Batman Brave and the Bold was in the most recent solicitations. A lot of Night Terror stuff will be hot on the heels of that. We have free comic book day that'll be coming next month, so we'll be getting the free comic book day special edition for Night Terrors as well.
2 weeks from yesterday.
Yeah,
it's free comic book day.
Yep. So
Green Arrow #1 comes out this Wednesday.
Mm-hmm. That was
you can find that on your. You can find that on your top 10 list.
Mm-hmm. And then I sent the clip over to the Comic Vet for the top pick, and that was the one that I picked for my top pick going into the week blind. I think that book has a lot of potential, especially with who's writing it, with it being a Joshua Williamson title. And after getting the stuff in Dark Crisis that we got, that it's the whole concept behind the Green Arrow, at least for the first little story arc, is where's Oliver? So it's going to take the team of his cohorts there to go find him, and they have to find him because of the events of Dark Crisis, where he's presumed dead. He's like the only person that legit died in the death of the Justice League issue. Like, Doomsday killed that SOB, but because of the events that were happening and with Pariah and everything, he just ended up getting snatched out of there and put into one of those pocket paradise dimensions, like we saw the survivors from the original Crisis in during Infinite Crisis. And we saw from the little World Without a Justice League one shot that there was an issue with Green Arrow. I don't know what to tell you. There's an issue with Green. Where's the cheese roll up on the table in there? There was an issue with Green Arrow and Black Canary where everyone else was contained. They were not. They were moving through these little paradise dimensions that he thought could contain them because they were drawn to each other. There was nothing that he could do to stop their attraction to each other. The force that it was undescribable between the two that was just pulling them to each other. So he's still out there, and they're coming to get him. And I'm all for it because that issue was fan-freaking-tastic. And if they're just going to carry on from that, I'm there. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the last time to me Green Arrow had a good series was all the way back to when Mike Grell was doing it.
At Heroes last year, we had breakfast pretty much right next to him. He was a really nice guy. It was cool getting to meet him. And to Pop's comment here, absolutely. Free Comic Book Day, these shops come out of pocket to buy these books to give away to the communities for free. This whole event is meant to drive traffic into the shops to help and support the shops. Mm-hmm. So if you have a local comic shop that you value at all, go there that day. Make plans to go.
You get comic books for free. A lot of the shops also do other things they do sales a lot of times, they do other things to help, so definitely, absolutely. Don't just be a Wednesday warrior. You need to be a Saturday warrior as well.
So I'll be going to the Augusta Book Exchange. Paul always puts on a fantastic Free Comic Book Day. He's got all kinds of local creators and artists and all kinds of stuff that's set up there. It's like a mini con there. There's this jackass who has no business in the comic community that puts on cash grab mini con kind of things where he overbooks small rooms in hotels and overprices tickets and makes for a terrible con. If you want a great example of it, I have a video of last year's on my channel, and he set that con to be on Free Comic Book Day this year. So on all of his posts, I've been going there like, wish I could make it, but I'll be supporting the local shops as it's Free Comic Book Day. And I've been tagging the Augusta Book Exchange, Dead Media, Top Dog, all the local shops here. And I'll be going to all of them, every single one of them, before I step foot in that con, if I even go to that con. Unfortunately, everyone else here probably isn't thinking about that, but I'm doing what I can to remind people.
Absolutely.
Because this guy puts on he'll go from Augusta to just like 90 miles up the road and just change the little emblem on his little advertising to the name of that town. It's just cash grabbing. Like it's very sad. Very sad. People taking advantage of the hobby. But whatever's. I'll be at ABX. Yo, where's Mom? Where's Mom?
She's sleeping now.
Mom will tell you. Give me that. I'll open it. There's no more cheese roll-ups on the... Did y'all eat them all? Are they good?
We got 7 of them.
Yeah, did y'all eat them all?
I think they didn't hear how many good cheeses we actually.
Okay. Well, these kids need some parenting. So we're going to wrap it up. I appreciate everybody coming tonight. I've got a really fun video coming out tomorrow. Let's see. Do I have it in here?
It's the reboot one, right?
I can put it right there. And tomorrow's video, it's available now for channel members, but boom, there it is. DC reboots debunked for all the people that you see all the time online talking about DC's just going to reboot again. Would love to get into it, but what's the point? They're going to reboot. They're going to reboot. This video will explain in detail why that narrative is BS and why you should definitely get involved in comics. If you have an interest, that is not an excuse. You can go share with Bubba. There's no way y'all are even going to eat that one pack. If y'all eat all those other ones, I'll open this one. Sound good? Okay, thank you. The last good Green Arrow series for me was Jeff Lemire.
That actually, I forgot about that one. But yes, that one was good too.
Yeah.
It was way too short.
Best Batman knockoff.
Because he got an arrow cave.
Aeroplane. Yo, you remember when Harley was getting on him about the arrow cave? Why didn't you just call it the quiver?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that was a good idea. Well, I hope everyone has a good night. I'll never follow a comic book website for news. No, they're full of shit. They are. A lot of them are. There's plenty. You can find good information, but you really do have to go, like, pretty much check anything. Where's he at? There you go. So we're going to wrap it up. Now there's like crackers everywhere in the house. I appreciate everyone coming and hanging out. Be sure to hit that thumbs up. Yes, full of shit. All right, guys. Yeah, hit that thumbs up so we can continue to battle the YouTube algorithm. And do not forget to check out Sector 2815's channel. We have the DC Deep Dive on Revenge of the Gods, Wonder Woman 798.
Mm-hmm.
That dropped. Yeah, so that review and detail on the event drops tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. And then tomorrow night at 9 p.m., we will be live with none other than the writer of Flash and the writer of the upcoming Hal Jordan Green Lantern series, Mr. Jeremy Adams himself. And if you haven't read the Flash stuff, no worries. We'll be giving away a couple volumes of his book as well as the movie that he wrote, Battle of the Super Sons. And it's going to be a blast. It's going to be fun. The second time we've had him over there on the deep dive. So you don't want to miss that. And we're already
Wednesday night. OG episode of Get That Key.
Yeah. And after this Jeremy Adams thing, we're going to start working on another guest for the deep dive as well. So be on the lookout for that. We're going to see what we can do. One thing at a time, though. One thing at a time. Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, it's a full-time job. It's a full-time job. What is going on, Jonathan? Hope you're doing good. What?
Where's Superman?
It does look like a Superman. Come show Paul.
Superman Cracker Bats.
Superman Cracker.
Superman.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Nice.
I bit a cracker into a Superman bag.
It's a super peanut butter cracker. Or is it a cheese cracker?
Pop's watching right now, too, see? He says, take care of my grandkids, boy. Good night.
He's watching us right now?
Yeah, he's at his house watching on the TV, but he can type on his phone and it comes up here. These are people watching and they can type on their phone and then I can pop it up. What do you want to tell Pop?
That I love you into the moon and back.
He loves you to the moon and back, Pop.
Nice.
You know what Pop's doing now? He's sitting there wiping tears.
Exactly. You just made Pop cry.
He's so happy. Oh, wow. Didn't know Superman crackers exist. I thought he was joking. They don't exist. He just made it out of regular crackers. The kid's creative. All right, guys. Y'all have a great night. And we'll see y'all tomorrow night at 9 o'clock on Sector 2815's channel.
Reasons.
That's it.
And go pound